Hello, math learners! Our lesson for today is about interest and terms of simple interest. The learning objectives are: you are going to define ordinary interest, ordinary time, exact interest, and exact time. Determine the ordinary and exact interest, and compute for the ordinary interest using exact time, ordinary interest using ordinary time, exact interest using exact time, and exact interest using ordinary time. There are two types of simple interest. First one is the ordinary interest, and the second is the exact interest. Ordinary interest, it is computed based on 360 days in a year, and it is called the Banker's Rule. And the formulas for time, we have T is equal to the number of days of a loan over 360. And for the ordinary interest, that is I sub O for ordinary, is equal to P times R times number of days over 360. For exact interest, the interest is computed in 365 days in a year as the time factor denominator. And for the formulas, for time, we have T is equal to the number of days of a loan over 365. And for the formula of the exact interest, we have I sub E for exact is equal to P times R times the number of days over 365. For the formulas, when the time is expressed in number of days, there are two ways of solving the interest. Based from the standard formula of the interest, we have I sub S is equal to PRT. Then ordinary interest, that is I sub O for ordinary, is equal to PRT. And then we convert T into number of days over 360. For exact interest, based from the basic formula I sub E, which will represent the exact, is equal to PRT. And then we change T into number of days over 365. Let us have examples. Problem 1. Find the ordinary and the exact interest on a 25,750 pesos loan at 5% interest rate at the end of 45 days. For the first solution, let us take up first the ordinary interest. So given 25,750, this is the principal amount. The rate is 5%, equivalent to 0.05. And since the number of days is 45 and we are using the ordinary, then time or T is equal to 45 over 360. Then, using the formula, I sub O is equal to PRT. And then we are going to convert T into the number of days over 360. And substitute, P is 25,750 times the rate, which is 0.05, times T, which is 45 over 360. And simplify 45 over 360, you have 0.125. And multiply the 3, then the ordinary interest is 160.94 pesos. Next, let us have the exact interest. Given, still we have the principal 25,750 pesos. Still the rate is 5% or equivalent to 0.05. And T is equal to 45 over 365 by this time. So, using the formula, I is equal to PRT, and since this is exact interest, then we convert time into number of days over 365. And that is equivalent to, for P, we have 25,750 times the rate 0.05 times T, which is 45 over 365. And then you can simplify this part, that is equivalent to 0.123288. Then multiply, then you will have 158.73 pesos. Therefore, the ordinary interest of the loan is 160.94 pesos, while the exact interest of the loan is 158.73 pesos. If you are the borrower, which do you prefer? Is it the ordinary interest or the exact interest? And if you are the investor, which do you prefer to use? Is it the ordinary interest or the exact interest? Which is favorable to you? Then, let us have problem number 2. Find the exact interest and the ordinary interest given the following values. For exact interest, then we have 10,000 for the principal. The rate is 6%, equivalent to 0.06, and time is 100 over 365. So, I is equal to PRT, and then we convert T into number of days over 365 and substitute 10,000 to P, 0.06 to R, and 100 over 365 to T. And then when you multiply, the result is 164.38 pesos. For the ordinary interest, given still 10,000, the rate is the same, 6% or equivalent to 0.06, and T is 100 over 360. Based from the basic formula, then we convert T into number of days over 360 because we're using the ordinary. So that is 10,000 for P, 0.06 for R, and 100 over 360 for T. And multiply the 3, then we will have 166.67 pesos. Therefore, the exact interest is 164.38, while the ordinary interest is 166 pesos and 67 centavos. So again, if you are the borrower, which do you prefer? Is it the exact interest or the ordinary interest? Or if you are the investor, which do you prefer? Is it the exact interest or the computation for the ordinary interest? Next, let us have the types of terms for simple interest. We have the ordinary time and the exact time. For ordinary time, this is based on a 30-day month computation. Means that a 6-month transaction covers 6 times 30 days, a 30-day month computation. For exact time, based on the exact number of inclusive dates of transaction. So for example, if a loan entered on October 1, 2020 and matured on December 20, 2020, then you will start counting on October 2 because you just entered your loan on October 1. So meaning October 1 is not included. So from October 2 to October 31, 2020, that is good for 30 days. And from November 1 to November 30, that is good for 30 days because there are only 30 days in November. And from December 1 to December 20, because the loan will mature on December 20, that is good only for 20 days. Having a total of 80 days. So, that is an example of an exact time. You are going to count the inclusive dates of transaction. Let us have an example. Find the interest on 28,700 pesos at 7.3% from May 14, 2020 to October 16, 2020 using the following. A. Ordinary interest using exact time. B. Ordinary interest using ordinary time. C. Using exact interest using exact time. And D. Using exact interest using ordinary time. So this is the tabulation of the exact time and ordinary time from May 14 to October 16, and using a pocket calendar for exact time, that is, you have to count the number of days starting May 15 because May 14 is not included. So from May 15, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So 17 days. And then for ordinary time, it is only 16 days because May is until 31 and ordinary time is good only for 30 days. So that is only 16. And then for June, there are 30 days. So the exact time for June is 30 as well as the ordinary time is 30. For July, there are 31 days. So the exact time is 31 days. But for the ordinary time, it will just count 30 days. For August, this is 31 days. So for exact time, that is 31 days. And for ordinary time, that is only until 30 days. For September, that is good only for 30 days. That is why exact time is 30 days as well as the ordinary time is 30 days. For October, the loan will mature on October 16. So from October 1 to October 16. So exact time is 16 days as well as for ordinary time 16 days. Then we add all the number of days for the exact time, that is equivalent to 155 days. And adding all the number of days for ordinary time, that is good for 152 days. So for the solutions of ordinary interest using exact time, that is good for 155 days. So given 28,700 and the rate is 7.3% or equivalent to 0.073. All you have to do is to divide by 100 or move 2 decimal places to the left. Then T is 155 because the exact time having a total of 155 over 360 because this is ordinary interest. So, the formula is I sub O is equal to PRT. And we convert T into the number of days over 360 for ordinary interest. And substitute 28,700 times 0.073 times 155 for the exact time over 360. And multiply the 3. The result is 902.06 pesos. Next. Computing for the ordinary interest using ordinary time. And the number of days for ordinary time is 152. So, given, we are going to use the same principle, 28,700. The rate is 0.073 and time now is 152. Still, it is over 360 because we're talking of ordinary interest. So, using the formula for PRT and convert T into number of days over 360, and then substitute 28,700 for P, 0.073 for R, and 152 for the ordinary time over 360. And the result is 884.60 pesos. Next. Computing now for the exact interest using exact time. We're using the same given. By this time, we have 155 for the exact time. So, applying this formula, Convert T into number of days over 365. By this time, that is exact interest. The denominator is 365. So I sub E is equal to 28,700 for P, 0.073 for R. And for T, we have 155 over 365. And the result is 889.70 pesos. And for the last one, computing for the exact interest using ordinary time. So by this time, we're using 152 over 365. Ordinary time total is 152. 365 since we are computing for the exact interest. So using the formula and convert T into number of days over 365. So 28,700 for P times 0.073 for R and 152 over 365 for T. And the result is 872.48. So the answers are the following. The ordinary interest using exact time is 902.06. The ordinary interest using ordinary time is 884.60 pesos. The exact interest using exact time is 889.70. And the exact interest using ordinary time is 872 pesos and 48 centavos. So, as a borrower, which do you think is favorable to you? Is it letter A, letter B, letter C, or letter D? Or if you are the investor, which do you think your company will gain more? Is it the computation of letter A, letter B, letter C, or letter D? Do you have questions? If there is none, let me introduce the knuckle counting months. Count knuckles as 31 days, depressions between knuckles as 30 days, or 28 or 29 days. So this is the illustration. This one is good for 31 days. If you don't want to use a calendar, you will be able to know that January is having 31 days. And then the depression part, this one, in between the two knuckles, this is good for 28 or 29 days for February. And then the next is you will have March, that is 31 days. Then April, the next depression, that's good for 30 days. And then May, 31 days. This one is 30 days for June and 31 days for July. Then going back, August is also 31. So you count this as August, which is 31. Then the depression now, September. So September is good for 30 days only. Then October is good for 31 days. Then November, 30 days only. December is containing 31 days. So the months with 31 days, we have January, March, May, July, August, October, and December. For February, it can be 28 or 29. And then the months containing 30 days, we have April, June, September, and November. So this is how to determine whether the months contain 31 or 30 days. Do you have questions? If there is none, see you next time. Bye!